Democratic House leaders are putting the finishing touches on the latest coronavirus relief bill, and the price tag could surpass the $2 trillion CARES Act. Democrats hope to vote on it next week, despite the uncertainty about bringing hundreds of House members back to Capitol Hill. Here to talk about it, Republican Congressman from Tennessee, Mark Green. He serves on the Coronavirus Select Committee, as well as the House Oversight and Homeland Security Committees. I should also mention, Congressman, that you are a medical doctor. What do you think about getting the House and all of the hundreds, maybe thousands of support staff back on Capitol Hill?
Yeah, I think it's time we get back to work, and we don't necessarily have to bring the whole force back, all of the staff. There's a system where we could rotate folks through, have half at home, half at, but it's much better. We're much more efficient when we're in that building. Right now, we can't even debate. The folks in Tennessee don't have a voice because the leadership are just circled in a room writing a bill. And that's not how it was intended to be. So I'm looking forward to us getting back. The Senate is already back. And if you look at their average age versus our average age, that puts them at a higher risk than us. We should be back and working.
The White House is hopeful that once we get this economy back open again, that hiring is going to resume and the economy is going to get rolling again fairly quickly. Listen to what Larry Kudlow, the president's economic advisor, had to say.
About 3/4 of today's 20 million drop in jobs looks to be temporary layoffs. That doesn't lessen the hardship, by the way, but it does suggest that things like the payroll protection program and the unemployment insurance and the economic impact checks and other things has had some cushioning effect.
So the CARES Act was $2.2 trillion. Democrats are asking to spend several trillion more in this upcoming legislation. Is it time for that, or should we hit the pause button?
We should absolutely hit the pause button, John. I mean, we haven't even spent all of the $2 trillion plus from the CARES Act yet, and they're already screaming for money for state and local governments. We actually spent so far $765 billion for various programs for states and local governments. It hasn't, we've allocated it. It hasn't all even been spent yet, and they're crying for more money. They're crying for a $2,000 check for every American who makes less than $120,000 a year. I mean, that makes no sense at all. This is just them pandering to their base. It's ridiculous.
Some of the states, as you well know, that have been looking for money are states that were in horrible economic shape before the pandemic, especially because of unfunded pension obligations.
Yeah, Illinois has an unfunded $137 billion debt for their pension program. In Tennessee, we are fully funded. We're the lowest per capita debt in the nation. We have one of the lowest tax burdens in the country. We don't want to be paying for the retirement plans of the folks in Illinois. And if you look at New York, they actually, during the midst of the COVID crisis, during the midst of the challenge that they've been under, they're already $6 billion in the hole on their state budget. They raised the entire state employee salary 2%, not just first responders or people who are actually in the trenches fighting COVID. They raised, while they already had a deficit, they raised everybody's pay. That's because they're anticipating a bailout. I mean, that's just not right. That's not how they should treat taxpayers in other states.
Congressman Mark Green, Republican of Tennessee and a member of the Coronavirus Task Force. Thanks for joining us tonight. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, John.